Hello and welcome, beautiful, vibrant souls, to this week's Astrocast. Woohoo! This is going to be covering the week ahead, which will be May 23rd through May 29th, 2022. So welcome back to all my old friends. Hello, welcome to all my new friends. I'm going to give a brief rundown of how astrocasting works for the unfamiliar, the uninitiated, so we're all starting out on the same page. So as you see, I have my lovely little circular board here. I'm actually hitting things. My lovely little circular board that's divided into 12 segments, and these represent the 12 houses of the zodiac and their natural areas of rulership. Now, I do want to just kind of make a quick note, excuse me, that these are then back up, Vanessa. The Mercury retrograde, you guys, it's got me feeling some type of way. These are talking about the natural areas of rulership for the 12 houses of the zodiac, but this will play out differently for you based on your own personal astrology, as well as just your life circumstances and your journey up until this point. If you're interested in an astrocast for yourself, please DM me. I do custom readings. All that good jazz. So what we do is we have the 12 areas of the zodiac, their natural areas of rulership, and then I reach in to this cute little jar and I blindly pull out tarot cards, teeny tarot cards. Like, look at this teeny tiny little temperance. Look at him. Such cute little healing. But I reach in and I cast them onto the board and interpret the energies of the cards in each area of life that's represented on the wheel to kind of get a feel for the major energies ahead for us in the next week. Now I just kind of want to make mention, you guys, this retrograde, I can't talk. I want to make mention that with whatever comes out, any or all of the energies may apply to you over the next week. They might play out slightly differently than what we're seeing here. Again, just based on your own personal journey, just stuff to keep in mind. So I think that's just about everything that I needed to cover, and let's get started. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. My allergies are awful. If you've gotten a personal reading with me lately, which thank you, by the way, if you have, or if you ever have, you'll know that it's bad. So I'm really sorry. I tried my best. But yeah, let's see. I want this one. Okay, sweet. Let's see what we have. Ooh, yes, I like that. I like seeing that. This is spicy. Okay. So for those of you who are new here, I want to just make mention about how I kind of read these. As you see here, you see how the Empress, the bottom of the card, is facing into the center. This is a situation where I would read that upright. If it were the opposite way, right where the top were facing inward, I would read that as reversed. Now, whenever I have stuff like this, which is most of the energies here where it's on its side, I tend to read those as kind of like the energy is in flux. So it may sort of be, you might find that it's more of an upright energy for you, more reverse. It's like stuff that's moving around. We'll talk about it, but I just wanted to make mention of that. So what we have here is we have Judgment on its side bordering the 6th and 7th house. We have the 4 of Pentacles on its side bordering the 10th and 11th house. And we have the 10 of Cups on its side in the 12th house, as well as the Empress upright in the 4th. So sometimes the energies are connected, sometimes they're not. I do kind of feel like these two might be connected. For some of you, this 10 of Cups on its side in the 12th house and the Empress upright in the 4th, but we'll talk about it more. So first and foremost, with the 4 of Pentacles on its side bordering the 10th and 11th house, I feel like a lot of you, well, I'm getting 2 major messages. One is that you might have to make a judgment call. And I know judgment's over here. Well, hang on, let's talk about it. For some of you, you might have to kind of make decisions about how you want to spend or divvy up your resources. I feel like there's something where you've finally gotten some type of stability or firm foundation, and now you're kind of trying to decide your next move. And there's a little bit of fear here about making a really a good judgment call, a prudent decision. For some of you, this is related to this Judgment energy bordering the 6th and 7th house, just because both 6th and 10th are career houses. But this has a lot to do with how you want to, where you want to go next, right? If you're thinking about the 4 of Pentacles, the next card in the Pentacle suit is the 5 of Pentacles. So I do feel like there's a little bit of fear of loss. Also, too, because we have these bordering the 11th and the 7th houses, and these can be about partnerships, as well as, the 11th house to me kind of deals with well, among many things, but in terms of relationships, deals with like our soul tribe and the people that we do our spiritual work with. This might have to deal with who you can kind of open up to, who you can trust, who you can collaborate with. So some of you are going to be making decisions about those types of things this week, particularly when it comes to your foundations and your finances. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind because they're both on their side. I don't feel like it's going to be the week to make a decision. This is more information gathering, but I am kind of getting here. Stay open. I feel like anything that comes through, this is something that, like, the energy here is that it's being brought to you for a reason. I don't think this is just to test you or mess with you. So if somebody comes forward with an offer, if you have something you're very seriously contemplating, give it time, take your time, go with whatever feels the most, what feels most in alignment to you. As I always say, trust your intuition, heed your own inner counsel above that of all others. Just laughing because if you've ever gotten a reading with me, I say that all the time. Well, self-empowerment is kind of my thing. But just try to make sure that you're remaining open, right? Like cautiously optimistic, or like you're really seriously contemplating the offers that people are giving you. Especially if this is also an offer for help. Because I'm almost getting with this sort of energy, it's like, we talk about this all the time, but in the story of the wheel of the zodiac, we are on this journey from the 1st through the 10th house. When we get to the 10th house, this is something we've made for ourselves, right? This is, part of our legacy. This is what we have put out there to the public. This is how people kind of know us. This is what we have done, right? And when we kind of have done everything we can do on our own, we seek to expand and take on like the next challenge. That's where the 11th house comes in, where it's, wishes coming true. It's our spiritual work. It's our friends. It's things like that, right? Because we have to we look to other people to then help us expand and grow and become the next best version of ourselves and create from that place instead, right? Excuse me. So for some of you, this is very much like needing to expand past what you can do on your own, and somebody's like offering to help or offering you an opportunity, and there's a little bit of like hesitation and cautiousness. And that's not a bad thing, but there's like a little bit of a note here to make sure that you're taking them seriously, like you're taking their offer seriously, you're really thinking about it. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be the right choice for you, but you're considering it, right? Instead of kind of just like brushing it off, if that's something you normally do. And like actually really thinking about what it would be like to have collaborators, have support, have people helping you, particularly for all of my sweet, vibrant souls who like to work alone, which I'm not knocking on you. I'm the same way. But that feels like an important thing here for some reason. I'm taking a sip of my iced coffee, pardon me. So yeah, I do see that. For some of you, again, because we have career houses here, and we have the Judgment card on its side, for some of you, what's going on here is that you're having a decision about what you want to do in your career, and this is a big turning point. And I feel like there's a little bit of fear, because I do feel like these are probably connected. I do feel like there's a little bit of fear, right, where it's like I've gotten to this level in what I'm doing, right? I have made a name for myself at this company. I have gotten my degree in this field. Whatever it might be, it's like you've accomplished something, and people know that about you. People, this isn't something where you're not talking about it yet. You're keeping it under wraps. This is something where it's like, people know that you have acquired some type of skill, some type of proficiency, that you have made some type of name for yourself. And there's a turning point where you're being guided, is what I'm hearing. I almost said invited, but guided. You're being guided to go on a different path. And I think there's a little bit of trepidation and fear around this feeling of having to give up what you've already done, what you've already accomplished, in order to pursue something new. Excuse me. And for some of you, with the 7th and 11th houses coming out as well, this is an offer that's come through another person. And I almost feel like there's this energy of, the question you're asking yourself is, can I trust this other person? When that's not the real question to be considered. The real question is, can you trust yourself? Can you trust your own judgment? Can you trust the calling from spirit that happens to have come through this other person? That's only going to be a message for some of you, but that's very strong right now. So there's a lot of decisions that are kind of coming up to be made around like work, career, how you present yourself to the public. I am getting, though, this is not a time to make a firm decision yet, but just stay very, very open while you're contemplating your possibilities. I'm also getting to, don't be afraid to talk to a trusted friend in this situation. Yeah, definitely getting that. So for some of you, I want to mention too, whenever anything borders the 6th and 7th house, just because this is the house of partnerships, I also think about it like, oh, words, Vanessa, hang on. Oh, like this could be talking about a relationship, like grounding, right? Because the 6th house is good, mind, body, spirit connections. This is like your everyday routines, things like that, right? So when it's bordering the 7th house, this to me is like, a partnership where you start seeing each other more often, right? Like on a regular basis. This is a partnership where it's becoming more established in some way, shape, or form. This is also, to me, this can be talking about a partnership where you're deciding whether or not to live with each other. And it doesn't have to just be romantic as well. This could be like, getting a new roommate, moving. I do feel like there's a really, really big decision around something that impacts your everyday life with you and another person in some context, right? It's like whether or not to take a step with somebody, make an agreement with somebody that will impact your daily life moving forward, and that will impact every part of your daily life, right? So I feel like, again, I kind of want to pull for the Judgment card. I'm reaching in. Sorry if you could hear my little hiccup burp. I'm reaching in. I can't see where to go. Is this one? Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. The 9 of Pentacles. Excuse me. It's clarifying. This actually is going along with this 4 of Pentacles sort of energy where it's like, I'm just going to put it here, but it's upright. Where it's going along with this 4 of Pentacles energy, where it's like you've achieved a lot on your own, not just monetarily. I feel like you've really been working on yourself, working on your self-esteem, working on feeling happy and free with the bird here, like singing your own song within your own skin. You're happy with who you are. And I feel like there's a big consideration as to whether this is the right move or not, because I feel like you've really worked hard on being happy on your own. And there's this energy of like, is this a step forward, or can I maintain what I've built? Or is this a step back? So for a lot of you, you're really going to be thinking about that this week. To me, this is also like whenever a decision card and this comes up, this is also like this indication to make sure you are not only choosing what feeds your self-esteem, right? Like what is honoring you, but also to not be afraid to take time to like take some time to yourself, to kind of spoil yourself a little bit. If this decision-making process is a little bit hard for you. Yeah, and I think you're, in this decision-making process, this is always just like a call to make sure that you're picking something that honors you, right? That makes you feel good about yourself, that, really highlights your talents, your abilities, respects you, right? Because the woman on the 9 of Pentacles is like a mini version of the Empress, so I love that they're both here. That's actually a good segue. Ta-da-da. So we have this Empress upright in the 4th house. I really, really like this. So first of all, we have Taurus and Libra energy here. I feel like a lot of you have done, especially with the 9 of Pentacles coming out to clarify the Judgment card, a lot of you have really been doing the healing work. A lot of you have been doing, especially that goes back to inner child healing, because the 4th house is our home, our emotional foundations. This could also be, the 4th house is Cancerian energy. So this is like the relationship to like mothering, right? Whether it's a relationship to your own mother, if you are a mother, the relationship you have with your children, the relationship you have to mothering yourself and to others. This is very much 4th house kind of vibes. So a lot of you have been kind of, I feel, healing anything that was unresolved in those areas, right? And really, like with the Empress here, really coming out a much stronger, more self-possessed version of yourself. Somebody like you've been really working on your self-love, and it shows. And you're really like reaching, I feel like you're really like reaching this new appreciation for how far you've come over this last week, but you're really reaching this kind of like new frequency, this new culmination point based on the efforts of your hard work. So as you're thinking about these things, as you're thinking about how you want to expand, because the Empress too, she's pregnant, so she's like ready to birth something new into being. As you're thinking about what direction you want to go and what you want to birth into being, I feel like this is very prominent. So what I'm almost getting here is like, this would be like if you, all right, this is an example. The energy this is giving me is like, let's say that, you know, you're seeing somebody romantically, and then you're debating whether or not to take like the next step, and you kind of are like excited about it and you want to know how they feel. And it's almost like it's getting offered to you, or like there's a moment that makes you stop where you're like, wait, but this means I have to give this up, right? It's like this like new appreciation for your time to yourself, for the, you know, your kind of like singlehood, or like you're being alone in the way that you're alone right now. Like it's like something where it feels like something where you had to get through it before and now you enjoy it. And so there's like almost this like newfound understanding and appreciation for the decisions that you have to make regarding you and another person, right? Because you've repaired the relationship to self, you've repaired the relationship to your self-esteem, and you've learned to not only enjoy yourself, but to like love yourself fully and respect yourself. You're learning to make decisions with self-value and self-respect in mind. And I talk about this a lot, but there's a difference between self-love and self-value, right? And these come from, you know, being taught how to have these skills, right? So we can love ourselves, but not always value ourselves. And we can value ourselves, but not always know how to love ourselves. And I think, you know, the best things in life come when we have developed skills in both areas. And this kind of feels like you're developing those skills, that like you've been really working on it. And it's kind of like creating this kind of like newfound understanding as you make big decisions moving forward. And I feel like this is like a pleasant surprise for some of you. But you're really in this much better place when it comes to your relationship to self, and that impacts these decisions that you make that are regarding other people as well. For some of you, if you've been looking to conceive, I feel like, you know, the Empress is a mother and she is pregnant. So like some of you, you've been looking to conceive, and especially in the 4th house, that is a very promising adventure. So if you're not looking for that, just be careful. Take the appropriate measures as much as you can. But if that is what you're looking for, congratulations. That's very exciting. Excuse me. For some of you, this is you work from home and you're about to get like a big boost in your business, and it's again trying to decide how to utilize your resources and who to align with. I feel like you're gonna make a lot of really good decisions. When it comes to finances, you're in a good place. You're making good choices. This looks really, really promising. Excuse me. Now for some of you, and these are where these two are connected, there is this desire to move. And like to move houses. And I do feel like this is coming up this week. So with the Empress being upright in the 4th house, this is like, you got approved for the loan for the house. You know, you finally sold a house, you bought a house. Like that's coming up this week, is like things in terms of your home and your emotional foundations, your family, are going very, very well for you over the next week or so. But because we have this 10 of Cups on its side in the 12th house, you know, the 12th house is the last house of the zodiac. It's conclusions, right? And I feel like with the 10 of Cups, this is a happy home, happy family card as well, being on its side. What I'm kind of getting from this is that there's this end of an era when it comes to home and family, or your conceptualizations of happiness. Again, it's like there is this big shift. So this entire week, home and family and relationships are like a huge, especially home, huge focus over this week, as well as to a certain extent finances. But this is like, your definition of happiness is shifting and changing. This would be like something that used to make you really happy. Like let's say you're moving, you know, you sold a home and now you're getting ready to buy a home, right? It's like you sold the house that you have so many beautiful memories in, but it's, you know, you're closing the book on that, like, you know, that chapter of your life. And now you're preparing. It's because you're stepping up, you're leveling up with this Empress in the 4th house. You're getting a better offer, you're having more success. It's like something that has to do with your home and your happiness is shifting and changing. So you're not becoming like less happy as a result. It's just what makes you happy, or the circumstances for that happiness are growing and changing this week. So there's a lot of being able to look back and see how far you've come over this week, right? And this also can be related to making this decision, is like what used to make you happy might be starting to really noticeably look different than what you need now, what you want now. And this comes from this like really healthy sense of self-esteem we see here. And that's okay, right? That's okay for what you want, what you need to shift in this lifetime. So don't be afraid of those changes, because that's just a natural part of your evolution and your growth. But the major themes this week are, things are shifting and changing. There's a lot of consideration. Try to stay open, but also, don't be afraid to stand in your power and say, this is for me, this isn't for me. And if it's different than what it used to be, if you've changed your mind or you've grown, you've changed your ideas, that is completely okay. Sorry if you can hear the pennies in my pocket. I'm taking my jacket off. Yes, I have a bunch of pennies in my pocket. No, I don't have a good excuse. Anyway, I have crystals and pennies in my pocket, you guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, overall, this week is like a really beautiful week for, again, this kind of like endings and beginnings. You're closing out a chapter, you're getting ready to start a new one. And there's a lot of really positive growth in this week ahead. So I think that's just about everything that I have for you guys. I hope this has been helpful. If you are looking for help with your specific situation, please check out my shop link in the description box below. It's been an honor, a joy, and a delight to get to be with you today. I hope I get to read for you more in the future. I'm wishing you the best, brightest, and most beautiful things that life has to offer. Take care, love bugs. Bye.